Tweet share 1 LinkedIn 0 email Michael Gove is trying to calm Tory nerves over Theresa May's capitulation in Brussels yesterday by saying we can diverge from any EU rules we don't like. This is nonsense. The chief Brexit Ayatollah either doesn't know what he's talking about or he is being dishonest. The Prime Minister's deal spells out that the whole UK may have to agree to alignment of a huge raft of our rules with those of the EU. That makes a mockery of the slogan, "Take back control." So how come Gove has signed up to it, describing it as a breakthrough in today's Telegraph? How come Boris Johnson tweeted in wonderful doublespeak that alignment means taking back control? How come, too, that the Daily Mail splashed across its front page, "Rejoice, we're on our way"? One of the few Brexit extremists not going along with this charade is Charles Moore, the Telegraph columnist, who describes May's deal as complete capitulation. Gove is a clever man. He has jettisoned the mantra, no deal is better than a bad deal, because he knows that the British people will be so horrified at crashing out of the EU that no deal could mean no Brexit. He's therefore desperate to get out before the voters realize what a ghastly mess they've signed up to. Gove's new mantra is, any deal is better than no deal, and that means bending over backwards and giving the EU whatever it wants so long as we get regulatory freedom in the end. As he writes in his Telegraph column, I've always believed that we should show the maximum flexibility in this negotiating phase so we can then exercise the maximum freedom as a nation at the end. Flaw in Gove Plan Ireland. There's one giant flaw in the Gove Plan Northern Ireland. In order to keep the border with the Republic of Ireland open, the Prime Minister has had to agree alignment of our rules with all those EU regulations relevant to North-South cooperation in Ireland and the Good Friday Peace Agreement. That's quite a lot. In May's triumphant deal yesterday, she acknowledged that North-South cooperation relies to a significant extent on a common European Union legal and policy framework. What's more, the Prime Minister has rightly promised the DUP, which is propping up her government, that there won't be a sea border between Northern Ireland and Great Britain. So how can Gove sign up to a policy that promises to turn us into eunuchs, meekly following EU rules ad infinitum without a say on them? He pretends it will all be fine because we'll end up with a deep and comprehensive free trade deal with the EU that will iron everything out, or, failing that, we'll come up with some other magical solution. But even Gove doesn't have much confidence in all that. That's why he writes that, after the 2-year transition phase the government wants to cushion the blow of Brexit, we will have freedom to diverge from EU law on the single market and customs union. He goes on to say, by the time of the next election, if the British people dislike the arrangement that we have negotiated with the EU, the agreement will allow a future government to diverge. If Gove really believes this, he's living on another planet. No way will the EU reach a future free trade deal with us that allows us to rip up whatever rules we don't like. But Gove is a clever man. So he probably doesn't believe we can unilaterally vary a future treaty with the EU. He probably also knows, contrary to everything May says, that there's no way we'll have finished negotiations on a trade deal by the time of the next election. If so, Great Britain will indeed be free to diverge as much as it wishes from EU rules without breaking any treaty. Will Tories ultimately shaft up? Northern Ireland, though, is another matter. Dublin, backed to the hilt by the EU, is insisting that there is no hard border in Ireland whatever happens. Our Prime Minister has agreed to this in her triumphant deal. It says the commitments and principles outlined in this joint report must be upheld in all circumstances, irrespective of the nature of any future agreement between the European Union and United Kingdom. What this means is that, come the next election, Great Britain can indeed go its own way on the rules but that Northern Ireland will not be free to, assuming, of course, that yesterday's deal gets hardwired into a treaty. In other words, Gove could have a very devilish fallback plan: shaft Northern Ireland if push comes to shove. But whatever you think about the DUP, it's not stupid. It knows that after the next election, it's unlikely to hold the balance of power in Parliament. It's not going to put itself in a position where some future government in London can sell it down the river. Maybe Gove can persuade Johnson and other Tory Brexiters to keep stum about what an awful deal May has done to avoid rocking the boat until it's too late for the electorate to reverse course on Brexit. But will he be able to control the DUP when the government needs its votes to greenlight our divorce deal sometime next year? If not, Arlene Foster, its leader, may become pro-Europeans' unlikely pin-up. Tweet share 1 LinkedIn 0 email edited by Luke Lithigo.